few of us don't know about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and about Nityananda Prabhu. So today is Nityananda, well, we are celebrating Nityananda Triyodashi. Nityananda Triyodashi was a couple of days back, a few days back. It's so nice to see you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes, yeah, very nice to see you. I still remember the Kirtan from Janmashtami. Hare Krishna. So, okay, for us to understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we need the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. So I was just saying a few days back, it's very difficult for me to turn all this way over here. So would you mind just moving a little bit? In fact, it's been said that if you shift by about 18 to 19 inches this way, then Krishna will come 18 million miles closer to you. So yeah, thank you so much. This is very helpful because it was getting quite painful. Okay. So a few days ago was the actual tithi of Nityananda Triyodashi, the appearance day of Nityananda Mahaprabhu, or Nityananda Prabhu. And Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna nahi anna. So there is, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's identity, he is no different from Krishna and Radharani. So he's the avatar of Krishna, the incarnation of Krishna in the age of Kali, but in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Okay? And but to understand a little bit, even beginning to understand a little bit about what his importance is, you know, in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya or even within the Bhakti movement, we need at least 2 or 3 volunteers. So who amongst you, I see there were a lot of kids, so obviously there will be times 2 parents. So who amongst those parents love their kids more than anything in the world?
Nobody.
Nobody loves their kids more than anything in the world?
Like nobody is.
Who is the one who loves their kids more than anything in the world? You do? Okay, come on over.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Come. We need some demo. Come out, you don't be afraid. You love your kid. And tell us your name, please. Jyoti. Okay, a big Haribol to Jyoti Mataji.
Haribol.
Who over here is a bachelor who's not yet been married and doesn't have any kids? Okay? Alright. Come on over, Mataji. And tell us your name. Kritika. Okay. So big Haribol to Jyoti Mataji, Kritika Mataji. Haribol.
Haribol.
Manit, you come over here. You're dressed for the part. Okay? Alright. Okay. So Jyoti Mataji, you said you really love your kid more than anything in the world. So explain to Kritika Mataji what that love feels like. Don't tell us about like what you do and what not do for your kids. Just what does that love feel like in your heart? Can you do that?
It's hard to describe it actually. I mean, you can't describe the love.
You can't describe it, right? Okay. Now, do you think she feels that love right now for anybody? Now that she doesn't yet have a kid? Probably not.
For parents, probably.
Do you love your kids the same way you love your parents? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I forgot my mom's like anniversary. It's actually the same day. I mean, my son was born actually. So my concentration was like on my son. I mean, I forgot their anniversary.
Can you do something right now to make Kritika Mataji feel that same intensity of love that you feel for your kid? Can you do anything like right now to make her feel that love? No, right? Okay. Kritika Mataji, if you can approach this gentleman over here, his name is Manit Prabhu, and say that, Manit Prabhu, I want to feel that love. To say, Manit Prabhu, go and tell her that, yes, you can have her feel that love.
Yes, you can
No,
have.
tell Jyoti Mataji that you can give that love to her.
Yes, Jyoti Mataji, you can give that love to her.
Okay, so that is it. Big Haribol to everyone.
Haribol.
Now I'll explain this kid. Okay? Alright, so our position is like Kritika Mataji. We hear a lot of theory on what is love for God. We can't feel it. It's theoretical. We don't know what it is. But somebody has it. Okay, Jyoti Mataji has it. She was, it was like Kritika Mataji. Jyoti Mataji has it. She's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. She can give that love to us, and she can make us feel that love for Godhead. So it's no longer a theoretical thing, it becomes a practical thing. I can experience it, I can understand it, I can finally realize it, I can assimilate it, I can embrace it, I can be engulfed by it, I can be encapsulated by it, I can be encompassed by it, I can distribute it to myself like for the rest of my existence and so on. But who did Kritika Mataji have to ask? Mr. Manit Prabhu. And who is Manit Prabhu? Manit Prabhu is Nityananda Prabhu. So if Nityananda Prabhu comes and tells Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, yes, please go ahead and distribute this love for her. Although this person may not be qualified, she didn't have a kid, so doesn't qualify as somebody who can understand the love for a kid. Doesn't matter. Give her that love anyways. So this is the emphasis and importance of Nityananda Prabhu. Okay? Is this point clear to everyone? Okay? All right. So, but although we are talking about Nityananda Prabhu, we'll start with Ramayana. It's always a good place to start. So, when the Golden Year episode came, anybody over here who doesn't know the Golden Year episode? Okay, right. Please. But this is, by the way, Kishori Prabhu. He's an exalted devotee, and we should all take his blessings. And
No, it's little.
when we have the chance. All right. So Ram went after the Golden Year. Okay. And who did he leave behind? Lakshman. He said, "You better protect my wife, Mother Sita, and you don't let her go." But long story short, we won't discuss the whole episode. Lakshman still comes over there. And so, but how does he come over there? Because he was not supposed to come. And you know, Lakshman was so dutiful that when Ram was banished, Lakshman didn't have to, not as per dharma, not as per any rules, regulations, principles, privilege, whatever it is, he doesn't have to accompany his brother. Sita, okay, one can still understand. She's a chaste wife, and her husband is going, and so it's okay for Sita to accompany. Okay, although Lord Ram said you don't have to come, but she said, like, where else will I go? Like, my place is right next to you. But Lakshman doesn't have any of those obligations, right? But he came anyways. Okay, he's so incredibly attached to Lord Ram. So how could he not follow Lord Ram's incredibly critical instructions that don't leave Sita and come over there? This was vital, right? He did that because of some episode, some discussion that happened with Mother Sita. So as you know, Marichi over there cried out in the voice of Lord Ram that, "Help me, I need help. Somebody come and help me." That kind of thing. And so Mother Sita got like really impatient, like, "Hey, your brother is asking for you. You got to go." It's like, "No, that's not my brother, so don't worry about it." So it's someone else. It's like, no, it's your brother. You must go. He's in trouble. Don't you hear it? Don't you hear the pain in his voice? And so on and so like this, the dialogue went. And eventually, and Lakshman kept saying, "No, I will not go. My brother told me to absolutely stay here." So Mother Sita eventually said, "I now know why you're not going. Because actually, you desire me. You're just waiting for your brother to die, and so that you can have me. You've always been like that. That's why you came to the forest like this, okay? And you've been waiting for your chance." And so these words of Sita, it completely penetrated Lakshman's ears, and it hurt him. Okay, it burnt his ears, and he was, like, what the heck? And so, like, he draws that line in the sand and leaves. And we know the rest of the story. And he comes all the way to Ravana. To Rama. And Lord Rama says, "Why are you here? Did I not tell you to remain over there?" Like, no, Mother Sita, like, "Oh, but Mother Sita, I mean, come on. Is my word more important, or Mother Sita's word is more important? And is her safety more important than her words, or what?" It's like, no, but Mother Sita told me like this, and I couldn't take, don't pay attention to all these words. That just let it go. It's a poor Lakshman. He got it from both sides, from Ram and from Ram. So he vowed that next time I come, I'm going to come as the elder brother. So he comes as Balram. Okay? But who is Lord Balram? Balram and Krishna, they are the exact same. There is no difference. The Lord Krishna is known as the Lord, the all-attractive one. Krishna, meaning all-attractive. Why? Because he has all 6 opulences in full. Okay? Name our opulences. Knowledge, wisdom, okay. Okay, all right. Beauty, renunciation, okay. Wealth, okay. Strength, fame, okay. So these 6 opulences in full. And which are the opulences that Balram has? Exactly these 6 in full. There is no difference in their names, their fames, their pastime, nothing. Okay? Yet, there are 2 differences. One is an external difference and one is an internal difference. The external difference is the difference in their color. So the color of Krishna's body is that of the early monsoon clouds. Okay, Ghansham, we say, Shama Sundar, so on and so forth. Okay? And then the complexion of Balram is the early spring clouds. Okay? So beautiful whitish complexion. Okay? The creamish, milkish, whitish complexion. Okay? Alright? It's one difference. The second difference is in their mood. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the mood of accepting service. Supreme Personality of God, Supreme Personality of Godhead in the mood of accepting service. Balram is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the mood of giving service. Okay? So how does Balram serve Krishna? So Balram is the first expansion of Krishna. So Krishna's job is to enjoy. And so who can facilitate this enjoyment? So he expands himself into Balram. And then Balram starts, making all the arrangements. He makes arrangements for the spiritual abode. He makes arrangements for other things. The dham, the Krishna's flute, his dhoti, his garland, his clothes, you name it. Okay? When then Balram further expands into the 4 Purushas. Okay? One of whom is Sankarshan. Who then expands into, Sankarshan again expands into 4 more, the second set of 4 Purushas, one of them is again Sankarshan. And then expansion of this Sankarshan, second Sankarshan, to Mahavishnu. And then Mahavishnu goes and lies down in the causal ocean, and from the pores of his bodies comes out the universe, and so on and so forth. So Mahavishnu is expansion of the expansion of Balram. Okay, that is his position, right? And then the rest of the cosmic manifestation happens. So this Balram comes down in the age of Kali as Nityananda, the same Balram. Okay? Brajendra Nandana Jay, Shochi Shukra Hoilo Shay, Balram Hoilo Nitai. Okay, so there's Nimai and Nitai. Nimai is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nitai is Nityananda Prabhu. And so Balram, Sachi Sutta is son of Sachi Mata, who was Brajendra Nandana. Brajendra Nandana is Krishna, became the son of Sachi Mata, which is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Balaram Koilo Gita. So you can see him over here. And so we'll talk a little bit about him today. So this is a beautiful prayer. It's actually a song by Lochana Das Thakur. We don't have to sing it, we just read it. Nitai Gunamani Amar, Nitai Gunamani, Anya Premier Banno, Bhashailo Avani. So Lochana Das Thakur, what is he saying? He said Nitai came to Gauradesh. Gauradesh was Bengal at that time. And at that time we didn't have like East Bengal and West Bengal. We're talking about, I don't know, like 300 years, 400 years before independence of India. So Bengal. So he came to Gauradesh with a flood of Krishna Prema and with a flood of love of Godhead. He made the whole world inundated with a flood of Prema. So where did he appear? So he appeared in this place. This is the aerial view, and you'll see this beautiful temple over here. This place is called ISKCON. ISKCON is roughly about 164 kilometers southwest of Mayapur. Okay, and it's in the district called Birbhum. Has anybody ever been to Mayapur? How many people have been to Mayapur? Okay, how many people have been to Vrindavan? Okay, so this is wonderful. This is really good. I'm very happy to get that. So what we can do, maybe at some point of time, we can schedule like a nice trip to Mayapur, all of us. You'll really like it. One of the main attractions in Mayapur is, you know how in Vrindavan, you're always struggling to find a place, right? Because, you know, 30, 40 people go, MAT is booked, and this is that, and that, so on and so forth. So there's that. In Mayapur, you won't find that problem. You'll have like, you know, 20, 30 guest houses or something like that, or at least like 8, 10 of them. And then you have about 20, 30 different restaurants. So many of our kids, they can't necessarily, or they choose not to handle like, you know, Indian food and spicy food and so on and so forth. So we have a lot of non-Indian facilities and all that in Mayapur. So anyway, we kind of digress, but I just wanted to share that with you. So roughly about 160 kilometers southwest of Mayapur is this village called ISKCON, and this is where he appeared in roughly the year 1473. And I say roughly because at that time, a lot of our shastras are following the lunar calendar. Okay, they don't follow the solar calendar. So they say this much Shatabdi, and so on and so forth, and then they give the lunar year. And that doesn't always translate very well into the Gregorian calendar. Okay? And who were his parents? Harai Pandit and Padmavati. So there is some interesting facts about his birth. You see, before this, Lakshman and Ram were born in pretty much the same family, born of Dasharatha. Okay? And then even when Krishna and Balaram, they were also born of the same family. Okay, Vasudeva Devaki, right? But over here, how come they were born of different families altogether? So there is this very nice. So when later on, Nityananda Prabhu later on married, and he married somebody called Janva Mata, who became one of the gurus. So we actually had initiating, female Diksha gurus at that time. Janva Mata was one of the preeminent Diksha gurus of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So something to keep in mind. She was the one who, carried our movement forward, the Gaudiya Vaishnava movement forward after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, actually, which is very interesting. So anyway, so he married her, and he had 2 marriages actually at the same time. He married her, and he also married her sister. And then later on, Janvi Mata, she initiated a disciple, one of her disciples, whose name was also Nityananda. So she called him Nityananda Das, so the servant of Nityananda. So Nityananda Das wrote this book called Prema Vilas. If you ever have the chance, you can read this book. It's a beautiful book, small book. It's full of beautiful anecdotes and stories and pastimes, but very deep pastimes. Not like on the surface, like, okay, he had prasad on that person, he met that person, and they're not like that. Like really deep, a very esoteric one. So he mentions in one of his chapters about the birth of Nityananda Prabhu, and he says that actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's parents, so Sachimata had an elder son called Vishwarupa. And Vishwarupa left home when he was at a certain age, and he took sannyas, and this really hurt the parents. And then he wandered around, and he actually left his body. And he left his body, and he took birth as Nityananda Prabhu in Harai Pandit and Padmavati's place. And he says the reason this whole pastime happened is because he was, just like Balaram, preparing the womb of Sachimata so that she could give birth to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Vishwambara. So anyhow, so he was born on the 13th day of the waxing moon of the month of Magha. And he grew up in this village. There are quite a few childhood pastimes of Nityananda Prabhu, which are mentioned in different places. Chaitanya Charitamrita has some. There is also called Nityananda Charitamrita, if anybody's ever heard about that. It's written both, Nityananda Bhagavad. No, it was Nityananda Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavad. Both of these are written by the same person, Vrindavan Das Thakur. Okay, so if you ever have the chance, read Nityananda Charitamrita. And it's mentioned over there that majority of his pastimes was around enacting plays and dramas with his friends about different Krishna's pastimes and Lord Rama's pastime. So, for example, they would have a play regarding Kalyadaman or Putanavad or Dhenukashurvad. And in Lord Rama's case, they would Rama in action. They would do like where they're fighting with Indrajit and so on and so forth. So in one of these dramas, there was one boy who was playing the role of Indrajit, and Nityananda Prabhu was playing the role of Lakshman. Okay, and so Indrajit, made some motion as if there was an arrow that came and hit Lakshman. We all know what happened. So Lakshman fell down, unconscious. And so everybody's like, all right, you can get up now. But then he didn't get up. And nobody could find sense of any breathing or anything like that. So they get really scared. And so they called his parents, Harai Pandit. And Harai Pandit came running. He said, what happened to my son? What happened to my son? And so he calls his wife, Padmavati. And so now they're really worried. The rest of the village gathers, and he's not moving at all. And then finally, they're all crying and like this, that, whatever, and then what can we do? What can we do? Many hours have passed like this. And finally, one boy remembers, oh, actually, I remember now. Nityananda had said that if such a thing happens, you just go through the motions of the play with exactly how things happen. And so they went through the motions of the play. One of them got up and said, oh, Lakshman is injured. What should we do now? And so then another person who was playing the role of Hanuman said, I can go and get the medicine. It's like, yes, you have to go and get the medicine. So he goes and pretends to, carry the whole mountain, brings, and then somebody tries to, find the herb, and then puts it in front of some piece of grass as the herb in front of Nityananda Prabhu's nose, and Nityananda Prabhu then wakes up. So this is one of many pastimes I just wanted to share. So later on, when he was around, I think 12 years old, it could be 12, and in one or two accounts it's even said 15, but let's stay with 12. There was a sannyasi who came to Harai Pandit's house, and Harai Pandit treated him very nicely, very wonderfully, and sannyasi was very pleased. And so in the next day, in the morning, Harai Pandit pays obeisances to the sannyasi. He said, my dear sir, what would you like as dakshina? What would you want? He said, well, the only thing I want is your son. So can you give your son to me? And Harai Pandit is completely crestfallen. So he is, Nityananda Prabhu is so dear to him that he does not even let Nityananda Prabhu go out of his sight. He's always afraid that he's going to lose him, that Nityananda Prabhu is going to go away. Because Nityananda Prabhu had already expressed his desire that, oh, can I go somewhere? I'm done, and so on and so forth. But now this thing happens, and he begs. He says, please, you can ask for anything, but I will give it to you. No, you don't have to give me anything else. If you can give this to me, that's fine. If you can give your son to me, that's fine. Otherwise, just let it go. It's like, no, I have to give this to you. You asked me. But why do you need him? Well, I need him as an assistant. Well, no, but I am a better assistant because I know what to do. He's just a 12-year-old kid. He doesn't know anything. Come on, let him go. No, I just want him. If you can give him, that's fine. Otherwise, that's all right. Don't worry. I'll just consider that you're not able to give charity. And so Harai Pandit goes and consults with his wife, Padmavati. And Padmavati is beyond consoling, but she's very strong inside. And she says, you know what? Whatever you decide, I'm fine with that. If you want to give him, that's okay. And so Harai Pandit comes out and gives Nityananda Prabhu, and Nityananda Prabhu down goes with this sannyasi. And he went with this sannyasi to the length and breadth of India, to all the different holy places, Varanasi, Prayag, Vrindavan, you name it, right up to the western coast, Pandharpur, and then down south to Rameshwar and all the way up as well. So he traveled to every single possible holy place. And finally, they ended up in near Vrindavan. And at that point of time in Vrindavan was residing Madhavendra Puri. So Madhavendra Puri is not an ordinary person. So Madhavendra Puri is the original person who preached love for Godhead. Prior to this, a lot of the preaching, a lot of the discourses were on Shastra, on like, oh, this philosophy, that thing, this Vedanta, this Nyaya Gyan, and so on and so forth, right? But he's like, no, let's not get into philosophy. Let's just get into feelings. Because feelings is what really matters. How should we cultivate the feelings, like we saw in the demonstration? How can Kritika Mataji get the feeling for love for Godhead? Okay, that is the thing. There's a story particularly about Madhavendra Puri, about Kirchor Gopinath. Does everybody know this story?
Yeah.
So in one of his journeys, he came across this beautiful temple of Gopinath. And in that temple, they were offering this kheer. Okay, but this kheer was like out of this world kheer, right? And so that's what everybody was raving about. But Madhavendra Puri did not have that kheer. So he doesn't know how that kheer tastes. And so he has a desire in his heart that I wish I could taste a little bit of the kheer so that when I go back home, I can make that kheer myself and I can offer it to them. But what can I do? I'm just a beggar. So, you know, I'm not very affluent, so I won't be given this kheer. So he left and he used to sleep under a different tree every night. So he slept under a tree. And then what happened is the priest locked up everything. He went to sleep and he got a dream. And in that dream came Gopinath, the deity over there. And Gopinath said that, you know, wake up, wake up. What happened? What happened? So you will go to my altar and you'll see that I have kept a separate pot of kheer. And you have to go to this nearby village and find this person called Madhavendra. And you have to give this pot to him. And so he wakes up, takes his bath, goes into the deity room, and he sees this pot of kheer. And he's like, wow, this person must be so important that Gopinath himself stole this pot of kheer from all the different pots, right? And so he goes around and he eventually finds Madhavendra Puri and he gives him that kheer. So from then onwards, this deity was called Kirchor Gopinath. So this is Madhavendra Puri's position. So when he met Nityananda Prabhu, they embraced. And has anybody ever had a pet in their life? Anybody? Okay. Or have you ever seen a dog in your life, a pet dog, right?
Yeah.
You'll see that when, you know, dogs get like really excited, like maybe their master has gone out for like, I don't know, 2 weeks or so, and they finally come home. The dog is so excited, they just keep running around and around and around, right? It's called having the zoomies for a dog. But that is the sign of ecstasy in a dog. The sign of ecstasy in a devotee is different. So there are many symptoms of that. One symptom is just Nomte Kareodan. So your hair stands on end. You stumble, become like just completely statue. You can then tears, Ashudhar, okay? Then you lose sense of time, you lose sense of geography, where am I, and so on and so forth. You can, you don't know whether you laugh or cry. Sometimes you laugh, sometimes you cry, and so on and so forth. Some of these symptoms you will also see in your regular life, irrespective. So for example, you will see that the first time when you hold your baby, many times it's just crying. Why are you crying? It's such a joyous occasion, right? Or many women will say that, hey, when my to-be husband proposed to me, I just started crying. Why? It's tears of joy. You know, you bring your first salary, give it to your parents, they'll cry. Joy. Right? So there are some symptoms like this that might happen also in your life. So this is nothing. This is very relatable. Okay, so they displayed these symptoms of loving exchange. So they were crying and they were holding each other and they were like, they didn't know what to do, to laugh or cry, and then they hugged and then they just lost consciousness for some time, and then they woke up and again cried a little bit and so on, rolled on. Then Madhavendra says, so Madhavendra bole, Madhavendra bole e prema na dekhilo kotha. Madhavendra Puri said, I've never seen such ecstatic love. I've never seen anywhere. Shei mor sarvatirtha hena prema jatha. Janilo Krishnero kripa ache mor proti Nityananda hena bandhu painu samiti. So he says, Shei mor sarvatirtha hena prema jatha. Wherever there is such prema, hena prema, wherever there is such love, that is my favorite holy place. That is Sarvatirtha for me. That is my Shei more Sarvatirtha. That is my favorite holy place. Okay? Janilu Krishnero kripa ache mor proti. I know Krishna has given me his mercy. How do I know this? Why? Because Nityananda heno bandhu paina shamiti. Why? Because he's given me such a friend as Nityananda. And then he says, Jeshe sthane jodi Nityananda sangha hoy, shei sthana sarvatirtha vaikunta dimay. So you can understand what he's saying. So wherever one finds Nityananda's company is the most sacred and transcendental place, Vaikunta. Okay. Nityananda hena bhakta shunile shavane avashya paibe Krishna Chandra shei jane. So anybody who hears the name of Nityananda, whoever, any bhakta shunilo shavane, whoever hears, what will they do? They will certainly attend the lotus feet of Krishna Chandra. Avashya paibe Krishna Chandra shei jane. Nityananda Yachara Tilaka Vesha Rahe Bhakta Hai Levshe Krishnaro Priya Nahe. Now this is important, devotees. This is very important. This is, if you were to go out today and somebody was to ask you in the parking lot, what was that guy talking about? What was the salient point? This is that salient point. If one has the slightest envy of Nityananda, Krishna never favors him, even if he is a devotee. This is critical in our devotional life. And envy is something that will keep creeping into our lives. We're envious of somebody doing a little bit better service than us. We're envious that somebody's dressed better than us. That kid is getting more service than my kid. And so on and so forth. They got like 2 gulab jamuns, I got only 1. So whatever is the cause of the envy, they have green card, I don't have it. You know, that kind of thing. So whatever it is, right, that will destroy your devotional life. Without exception. There's nothing you can do. You have to start again from, you know, a lower level, and so on and so forth. Okay? So anyhow, so they meet each other and they spend some time, and then Nityananda Prabhu waits in Vrindavan. Where is he why is he waiting? He's waiting for the advent of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's waiting for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not just to appear in the world, but actually to start his movement, his Harinam Sankirtan movement. And then he gets the sense, he gets the intuition that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has started his Sankirtan movement in Navadvip. It's my time, I gotta go now, right? So he starts on his way to Navadvip. And who's waiting for him then? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is waiting. Chaitanya, they have this perception, right? This sixth sense, obviously, right? Krishna Balaram, right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicts, like tomorrow, first he says, within a couple of days, there will be this Mahapurush who will come to Navadvip. And then the next day he says, today he will come. And so he comes. And Nityananda Prabhu asks around, is this the place of Nimai? Is this where Nimai Chandra lives? And so on and so forth. And he finds out where, you know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lives, and he enters the courtyard, and they see each other, and then they just stop. They just literally stop in front of each other, completely stunned. And at that point of time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, reaches out to embrace Nityananda Prabhu, and as soon as he touches Nityananda Prabhu, he becomes unconscious. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells his associate, okay, his associate over here is Pandit Srivas, and he, Srivas Pandit, and he tells his associate to recite this poem, Varha Piram Natavara Bapu Karna Yog Karnikaram Viprat Vasa Kanaka Kapisham Vaijantin Chamadam Randhran Venur Adhara Purayan Gopam Sudaya Purayan Gopam Vrindai Vrindaranyam Swapada Ramanam Pravishad Gita Kirti. This is a beautiful poem. This poem has a lot of significance in our movement. So everybody knows Vyasdev. Anybody over here who doesn't know Vyasdev? Anybody over here knows who his son is? Vyasdev's son. Okay. Anybody ever heard of Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam? All right.
Yeah.
So after the war, by the way, it's still a 2-hour class, right? Roji, Kulapati? Still 2 hours, right? Class? No. Is the class duration for 2 hours
Yes,
or
sir.
for 3 hours? Which one?
Means up to 8 o'clock.
Up to 8 o'clock. What's the time now?
7:15.
7:15. 1:5. Now, abhi to bahut time hai. So 8 a.m. p.m. Alright. Okay, sorry because I'm going on tangent. That's why. No, we should definitely be done. Don't worry about it. We'll have Prashadam properly. So this is a very interesting story. So Mahabharata war ends. Okay, how does it end? It ends by Ashwatthama killing all of the Pandavas' sons in their sleep. Everybody knows that. So now, Arjuna is really angry. Everybody else is very angry, whoever is remaining. And they start pursuing Ashwatthama. And Ashwatthama is scared. And so he's running around, but Arjuna, his chariot is being driven by Krishna. So there's no way he can run further, right? So his chariot, his horses become very tired, and Ashwatthama stops. He's like, okay, my end is near. So what he does, he takes the biggest arrow he can find, the most deadly weapon that he has in his arsenal, the Brahmastra, and he shoots it at Arjuna. And Arjuna turns to Krishna and says, my dear Lord, you are everybody, you're everything. Please tell me what I should do. Krishna says, well, you also have a Brahmastra. Go and counter this one. And so Arjuna shoots his Brahmastra, and then these two Brahmastras meet. And the heat coming out of these Brahmastras is so furious, so incredible, that the whole universe is in danger of annihilation. And so then Krishna steps in. He says, look, this is ridiculous. This won't work. So Arjuna, you can take back your Brahmastra. And Ashwatthama, you can take back yours. And so Arjuna takes back his. Ashwatthama says, I don't know how to do it. I never learned the art of taking it back. So now what do we do? So now, there is one thing that Ashwatthama can do. He says, I can redirect it. Where can I redirect it? I can redirect it to the only surviving descendant of the Pandavas, who is in the womb of Uttara. And who is Uttara? Uttara was the wife of Abhimanyu, right? And in Uttara's womb, there was this little child, and his name was Parikshit, right? So I can redirect it over there. So long story short, he redirects the Brahmastra over there. And Krishna enters the womb and completely engulfs Parikshit. And so Parikshit is able to see Krishna at that point of time when this thing happens. Okay? Sorry, it's my garland that does this. This is Krishna's way of telling me that I should not accept garlands. It interferes with the preaching, right? So okay, so now Parikshit is saved by Krishna, and he comes out, and by the time he comes out, he grows up, he never sees Krishna again, never. Okay. Now he grows up, and he becomes a righteous king, and one day he goes hunting, and there's this incredible forest that he goes into, and he gets lost. And he's been traveling like throughout the day, and his hands and feet are like tired and filled with cuts and whatnot. And then he ends up at this ashram. And in this ashram, there is this rishi called Shaunak Rishi. And he's meditating. He's completely immersed. And then Parikshit Maharaj comes and pays his obeisances. Shaunak Rishi doesn't respond. He says, all right, I'm just going to wait over here. And he waits and waits and waits, and nothing happens. And then after some time, he starts making noises. Hare Krishna, and so on and so forth, but nothing happens. He's completely immersed in his sadhana. And then he gets really annoyed. He says well, you know what, you're just pretending. to be in deep meditation. Actually, you don't want to entertain me. That is why you're doing this. And since you're behaving like a dead person, here, there is this, a dead person requires a dead necklace. And so he takes this dead snake and wraps around the neck of the Shaunakrishi and he leaves. Puff, puff. And after some time, Shaunakrishi's son comes in, Shringi. Shringi sees that and he gets like really affronted, like, who did this to my father? How could this person be so disrespectful? And he is not just an ordinary kid, he's a Brahminical kid, he has powers. So he takes out his Janayu and he washes his hands, he puts that thing, and says, whoever did this is going to die by being bitten of a snake bird in 7 days' time. And this news reaches Parikshit. And in that, after hearing this, Shaunakrishi also wakes up. He says, what did you do? What did you do, Shringi? He's such a righteous king. And through his spiritual prowess, he knows exactly what happened. It's like, why did you do this? He was just hangry, right? So, and then, this is just such a small thing he did. He just disrespected me. But now the universe has lost a righteous king. You have no right to do that. But unfortunately, the curse is already done. So when Parikshit Maharaj hears about this, what does he do? Now, he's also not an ordinary king. He has been saved by Krishna before. So does he go and pray to Krishna for saving? No. He says, all right, if this is the providence, then so be it. I accept it. Now the only thing I want to know is, what should a person who's about to die do? That's it. That's all I want to know. Yes, that was an important thing. So then he calls this assembly of sages. And in those sages one person comes, his name is Sukadev Goswami. Sukadev Goswami is the son of Vyasadeva. When he was conceived, Sukadev Goswami was conceived, he didn't want to come out of the womb. Okay? Now in that assembly of sages, Sukadev Goswami is the youngest. He's still a kid, right? He's not like thousands of years old or tens of thousands of years old as some of the other Maharishis are. So, but how did he get the actual position to speak to Parikshit Maharaj, right? Because he is that elevated. He was the son of Vyasadeva and he said, I'm not going to come out because there's nothing left in this world for me. I'm just going to remain in the womb. And then finally, after 15 years, almost 16 years, he comes out of the womb. And as soon as he comes out, he leaves. He leaves home. And Vyasadeva is running after him, like, come on, son, come back, come back, come back. Like, no, my father, I have got nothing to do with this. Please let me go. So he goes into the forest. And Vyasadeva sends a couple of his disciples next day into the forest where he knows his son is meditating and asks them to recite the shloka. And they recite the shloka, Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kuta. So this is about Putana. And he says that, well, how merciful is that Supreme Personality Godhead, who, the person who came to kill him, he gave her the position of the mother in the spiritual world. How incredibly compassionate is this? And now Sukadev Goswami is interested. Who is this person? And he asked these people, who is this person? Who are you talking about? Like, well, this is all we can tell you today. We'll come back tomorrow. So they come back tomorrow and they recite this prayer. Wearing a peacock feather ornament. So now he's describing Krishna. Wearing a peacock feather ornament upon his head, blue karnikara flowers on his ears, a yellow garment as brilliant as gold, and the Vaijayanti garland. Lord Krishna exhibited his transcendental form as the greatest of dancers as he entered the forest of Vrindavan, beautifying it with the marks of his footprints. He filled the holes of his flute with the nectar of his lips, and the cowherd boys sang his glories. This is the summary of everything that Krishna does in Goloka Vrindavan. What does he look like? What are his friends? What are his activities? How he appears to them? What is his main action? Playing the flute and so on and so forth. It completely attracted Sukadev Goswami's heart. And So then he returns back, he says, wow, tell me more about this person, tell me more, tell me more. And Vyasdeva then says, okay, now you sit and I will teach you the Srimad Bhagavatam. So in that assembly of sages, the Parikshit Maharaj, where he was asking, what should a person who's about to leave do? Well, the answer came, he should listen to the glories of the Supreme Lord. That's what he should do when he's about to die. And who was the best person to recite those glories? Sukdev Goswami. How did he hear? From his father. Yes. Okay? So now we know the history about this. Okay? So yeah, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, when they met, Pandit Srivas, he was asked to recite this. And so Nityananda Prabhu fell unconscious. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, just keep reciting, keep reciting. So after a long time, again Nityananda Prabhu then got up, and then they again embraced, and then that's how they met. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started the kirtan, and there was a lot of these kirtans would happen behind closed doors in Srinivas Thakur's place, Srinivas Acharya's place. And then one of the instructions that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Nityananda Prabhu was, you should go and knock on doors, knock on people's doors, and tell them to sing the glories of Krishna. And just chant Hare Krishna. Just chant Hare Krishna. Just chant it once, even if you don't want to chant like, 16 rounds, 64 rounds. Just chant once. And that's it. But go with with all your heart, with all your love and so on. And he formed a team. So Nityananda Prabhu would go with Haridas Thakur. And Nityananda Prabhu, what he would do is he would knock on people's house and he would take a straw lying on the street in his teeth. He said, like, please, please, I'm coming to you, begging you with humility. All you have to do is just chant once Hare Krishna. Some of them chanted, and many of them did not. Many of them didn't even open the doors. Some of them just get out of here, like, don't bother us. Like, no, just please, just chant once Hare Krishna. It's like, no, I'm not going to chant Hare Krishna. Oh, you chanted Hare Krishna. That's amazing. That's wonderful, right? Like, yeah. So this is the humility of Nityananda Prabhu. So in one of their excursions, they saw from a distance there are two miscreants who were just in the middle of the marketplace, completely drunk, and they were just like hitting each other and all that, completely in an inebriated state. And they asked the people over here, like, who are these people who are who are making so much noise, hitting each other, and so on and so forth? It's like, no, don't go there. Their names are Jagai and Madai. Well, who's Jagai and Madai? Well, they used to be Brahmanas. Actually, they're sons of this Brahmana. Their father is still a decent man. But after, I don't know what happened, they fell into like really bad association and whatnot. But then they started stealing. And then with the money that they got, they started gambling. And then with some, whatever they had, they started drinking. And to fill, and then they started going to, other women's places and so on and so forth, as you can imagine. And then they would run out of money, so then they started robbing. And then they would, like, if anybody would not give the money, they would burn their house, and this and dacoity. And they even killed so many people, and so on. So they have committed every single abominable act that one can think of. And they are like the gundas, the goons of this place, the dons of this place, right? So please, dear sirs, don't go there. Nityananda Prabhu said, that's where we'll go, right? Why? It's like, well, we have to catch this rhinoceros, right? If we can catch this rhinoceros, then everybody will say, wow, how incredibly amazing is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy and his movement, that even somebody like Jagai and Madai, so fallen people, they can chant Hare Krishna. And if we can't, then we can't, no problem. So they approached Jagai and Madai and said, my dear sirs, with straw in our teeth, in my teeth, I'm going, please, I implore you, chant Hare Krishna. So Jagai and Madai look at them. Who the heck are you? So, and what is it? Oh, let's catch hold of these guys. Come, Madai. Let's catch hold of these guys. Let's kill them. So they start running after Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur are running as fast as they can. And these people are running after them, as fast as they can. And then while running, Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, they're joking. Nityananda Prabhu is telling Haridas Thakur, Haridas, today is the day. Aaj to gaye. So we are going to die today. So Haridas is like, yeah, it really seems so. I think today is the day. But like, Haridas, when you are being beaten in the marketplace, in 22 marketplaces, Krishna saved you. Because you prayed to Krishna and he saved you. Why can't you pray to Krishna now? Like, he can save us. So Haridas Thakur said, but at that time I was not with a madman. So who asked you to go and preach to some drunkards? Who does that? बहुत पागल होएगा. So, who will, even in the right sense, approach such people? Who asked you to do that? And Nityananda is like, don't blame me. The madman is sitting over there in Navadip somewhere. He's the one who asked us to go and knock in everybody's door and do this. If you have to blame someone, blame him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So like that, they were joking around and they were running around. Okay? Then finally, they come around an alley, and then by some mystical arrangement, Jagai and Madai, they can no longer see where is who. And so now Jagai and Madai are really frustrated, and they have to hit someone. Itne dur bhag gaye, kisi ko to marna hai. So what do? They start hitting each other. So this was the Jagai and Madai. And then, this episode ends. And so Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, they come to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Haridas Thakur is telling, do you know what happened? You sent me over there with this madman, and he asked these people to chant, and these are like this, miscreants, and this and that, and they were about to come and kill us. Like, what? These people were about to come and kill you? And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calls for his Sudarshan Chakra. I will kill them right now. So Nityananda Prabhu, he lies down prostrated in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No, this is not why you have come over here. That is the job of the Kalki Avatar. That is not the job of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Your job is to be compassionate. And so please just forgive them. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, okay, just because you said so, I'll forgive them. So he lets them go. Now Haridas Thakur goes to Advaita Acharya and he starts complaining over there. Look, you know what happened today? This happened. And this Nityananda Prabhu, Nityananda, he's a madman. So every now and then he'll go around and he'll ride on a bull and he says like, I'm Maheshwar. And then he'll start milking all these cows, and then cows will not have any milk. And then when the farmer comes, he'll run when the Gwala comes, he'll run away. And I can't run, I'm just an old man. And so they catch hold of me. They're like, what happened? And I'm like, okay, that's just he is. And then he'll go around and he'll tell all these boys that, oh, I'm going to beat you. And so these boys go and complain with their parents, and the parents come up, and Nityananda runs away. And this is the parents, they catch hold of me. Now, what is my problem? So, and then he'll see all these young girls, and he'll come in front of them and say, I'm going to marry you. So, they first come. So, and then this is the thing. And then he'll jump into some river or pond, and then he'll try to catch these crocodiles. So this is the madman, and I'm now stuck with this madman because we are a team. And so Advaita Acharya says, well, you get you always, the birds of a feather flock together. A madman will always stay with another madman. So he's praising Haridas Thakur because Haridas Thakur was mad in the love of God by chanting the holy names. Okay? And he was in the company of Nityananda Prabhu, who was also mad. So then the next day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to this Ganges in the morning to take his bath. And over there, Jagai and Madai are standing near the banks of the Ganges. And they say, oh, we've heard some music come from your from your place. Okay, so maybe next time, we love that music. It's like beautiful music for Durga. And that's great. So you can sing a little loudly. I love that. Durga will love that. Like that. Mother Durga will love that. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just ignores that because he's singing Sankirtan. He's not singing praise of somebody else. And then that night, this very interesting thing happens. Nityananda Prabhu again goes. Right? Ek baar to nahi bhara nahi pet, so he again goes in front of Jagai and Madai. Jagai and Madai are again completely drunk. And so he goes in front of them and says, please just chant once Hare Krishna. And this time, Madai is not going to have any of it. Sorry about this. So what he looked around and he saw this pot full of liquor, half filled with liquor. He picks up that pot and he throws it at Nityananda Prabhu. And it hits him on the head and it cuts his head very deeply. And blood starts just gushing out. And Nityananda Prabhu just falls to the ground. He says, don't worry, I'm not hurt, I'm not hurt. You just chant once Hare Krishna. Don't worry about me. You just chant. I'm okay. And Jagai over there, seeing all this blood, said, Madai, what did you do? Like, come on, you don't have to chant, don't chant, but this is just a sadhu. And look at him, he's not upset with us. He's okay. But why did you have to kill him? Don't do that. Don't kill him. Don't hit him anymore. Right? And in the meantime, this news reaches Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately appears there and he calls out his Sudarshan Chakra and he says, I'm going to kill you both. Right now. I'm done with this. And then Nityananda Prabhu just says, no. You see, Jagai, he was actually trying to save me. Madai was hitting me, but Jagai was trying to save me. So please, don't kill them. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, immediately the Sudarshan Chakra disappears. So what? Jagai? You were trying to save my Madai? That's amazing. Come here. I want to embrace you. You're so loving, so compassionate. So he embraces Jagai. And as soon as he embraces Jagai, Jagai gets the love for God. And he's just completely stunned. And the tears start flowing from his eyes. And so, at that point of time, Madai sees this and said, how can you give it to him only? Jagai and me, we have committed all the sins together. Every single thing what we have done, we've done together. So how can he get love for God and I cannot get it? Please give that to me as well. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, I will not give that to you. Because you hurt my Nitai. I will not. It's like, what are you talking about? So in all these yugas, so many demons had come and tried to kill you. And he quotes that, Aho Bakiyam Stanakalakuda. Even Putana, who came to kill you, you gave her the role of your mother in Vaikuntha. So how can you not give this? Okay? So he's like, no, because if anybody hurts me, I can tolerate it. If anybody abuses me, I can tolerate it. If anybody does that to my devotee, I will not tolerate it. So if you have to beg for forgiveness with Nityananda Prabhu. So now Madai falls at the feet of Nityananda Prabhu. Says, please forgive me. I didn't know what I was doing. I was in a completely drunken state. So please, Nityananda Prabhu then picks him up and embraces him. And then as soon as he embraces him, he also gets the love of God. So this was the episode of Jagai and Madai. This was the beginning of Jagai and Madai's journey. The next day, they actually go through initiation, and then they're given several tasks. Madai is very repentful, and so he asks Nityananda Prabhu, he's not yet satisfied, like, how could I hate you? How could I hate you? Please, I feel so guilty. I just want to give up my life. You tell me what you want me to do. And even if you were to forgive me, there's so many people I hurt. How can I go to them? I don't even remember who all I hurt. So how can I take their forgiveness? So Nityananda Prabhu says, you do one thing. There's this Ganges, build a beautiful ghat with your hands, own hands. and make it wonderful so that when people come over here, all the facilities are there. It's very clean, it's very organized. And then they will start blessing you and praising you. And that will help you get over all these reactions. Okay? So this was the story of Jagai and Madai. So we'll conclude in 2 or 3 minutes. So the good thing is we heard a little bit about Nityananda Prabhu. We now know who he is, what his position is. We heard some pastimes, okay? But then you can ask, like, okay, what's in it for me? Vipam, what's in it for me? Well, there are a couple of important things that we have to remember. One, who is Balram? Who is Nityananda Prabhu? Who is Balram? So his name is actually Rama, not Balram. The Bal part of it denotes strength. But it's not that he was strong just because he was lifting, trees and plants and whatnot. That strength is what is called a spiritual strength. Now, you'll see amongst all of us, even outside and so on and so forth, some people will have the capacity to chant, some people will not. Some people will have the capacity to do this much service, some people will have the capacity to do that much service, so on and so forth. You see this in all walks of life, even in your professional life. Not all developers will be the same, not all managers will be the same, not all mothers will be the same, not all fathers will be the same, and so on and so forth, right? This comes from what is called as the spiritual activities, come from what is called as the spiritual strength. The guardian, the giver of spiritual strength is Balram/Nityananda Prabhu. So this is why Kritika Mataji had to ask Manit/Nityananda Prabhu that please, if you say, okay, I'll get it, then I will get the love for God. Okay, love for the case. If you don't say it, I'm not going to get it. And what is he going to do? He's going to give you that inner spiritual strength to get it. So this is the thing. We cannot make even a little bit progress, just not even a slight amount of progress in our spiritual life by endeavor. There was this incident that happens between Prahlad Maharaj and his father, Hiranyakashipu, where Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad, okay, what did you learn in school? This is the second time he asked. And in that second time when he asked, Prahlad Maharaj gives 3 very interesting shlokas. And in the first shloka he says, people all over the world, they're just running around with no idea what is the goal of life. And they're just trying to chew the chew. They've already chewed it, but they're still trying to extract a little bit more rust from it. But वो गन्ने का जो ये छिलका लेके उस पे भी वो chew कर रहे हैं. By chance अगर थोड़ा सा और उसमें कुछ मिल जाए. That's it. That's called chewing the chew. So that's his first shloka. In the second shloka he says, you cannot get spiritual endeavor. You cannot get make any progress in your spiritual life in bhakti by your own endeavor or somebody else's endeavor or a mixture of your endeavor and somebody else's endeavor. It's a remarkable statement because now you have to ask yourself, and how the heck will we even make any spiritual progress? Because you cannot make it by your endeavor, you cannot make it by somebody else's endeavor, and you cannot make it by the combination of your endeavor. And so he clarifies that in the third shloka. He says you can do it, you can only make progress by the mercy of somebody like Balram, Nityananda Prabhu, by a spiritual master, by somebody who understands and knows and realizes and who is a pure, who is able to give it. Everybody repeat after me. You cannot give what you do not have.
You cannot give what you do not have.
Exactly. So if you don't have love for Godhead, you cannot give it to someone else. So Nityananda Prabhu had the love of Godhead. So therefore he can give it. We don't have it. Okay? So this is the main takeaway. Association is key. Finding a spiritual master is key. Rendering service is key. And most important is pranipashina, so which is inquiring submissive. So we'll stop over here. I'll invite questions, comments, feedback, anything from anyone. Questions, comments, or feedback? Anyone? Yes, Prabhu.
So the 8th chakra where Nityananda Prabhu was born, there's some other story too, right? That chakra was what Krishna sent and it went there.
Could be. It could be. We are not 100% sure about that. Okay. Any other questions? Anyone? Okay. So when now,
As
yes,
usual,
Prabhu.
Prabhu. So Prabhu, we can attain.
Do you want to speak to this mic so that others can hear you as well?
Yes.
Otherwise, I'll also repeat the question. Okay. Yeah, if that's okay.
So as we just heard that everything is possible only and only with the mercy of Lord, or mercy of Nityananda Prabhu.
Yes.
So how and what should we do to get that mercy?
Yes. So Nityananda Prabhu manifests in our lives. So we can't just go and just sit in front of the picture of Nityananda Prabhu and say, okay, give us mercy, give us mercy, give us mercy. It doesn't work like that. Nityananda Prabhu manifests as a spiritual master. So Guru Tattva, as a spiritual master. So we have to be seekers. Like, I actually want this. And this is something that has to come from within. So the first step for spiritual realization is called Shraddha, Ado Shraddha. And then you start with the next thing, then Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, and so on and so forth. Anartha Nivritti, and these are the different stages of progress in Bhakti. But it starts with Shraddha. And Shraddha, the nominal translation of Shraddha is faith. It starts with faith. But if you read the purport of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4:10, shloka number 10, Srila Prabhupada calls out Shraddha as desire, okay, as the initial desire. So we have to have initial desire. Prabhu's mothers, this happens in every phase of your life. You cannot get married if you don't have the desire. Won't work. You cannot end up loving your husband if you don't have the desire, or your wife, or your spouse, whatever, if you don't have the desire. Naked, I don't want to, love this guy. Okay. You cannot get a job if you don't have the desire for it. So ghar pe baith man, naked, job naked, kya kar loge? Okay. You cannot study anything. Nahi, hame to cricket dekhna hai. I don't want to study. Okay. Whatever. Desire is the root of everything. But you have to ask yourself, why should you have the spiritual desire? That is more important. You have to have the spiritual desire because you have to have ambition. Who over here wants to be happy? Show of hands. Right? Right? But if I were to ask you, like, are you happy? Yeah, Prabhu, sometimes I'm happy, sometimes that is life. Why do you want to put up with that? Who said that you cannot be happy all the time? That's a lack of ambition. No, it's only life. I'll be happy some of the time, I'll be miserable some other time. Why should you put up with that? Who over here wants to die? Nobody, right? Why do you have to be dead? What's the point of that? You work your whole life, you build your whole family, you have kids, you have husband, your parents, this, that, and one day you are going to lose it? Many of you have 401ks, your investment advisor comes and says, oh, please come and invest with us, but by the way, kal raat tak na tumhara sara paisa chala jayega. You'll lose all your money by tomorrow. You say, oh, what are you talking about? Like, why would I invest with you? But that's our investment. We invest in this life, but we're going to lose everything, right? That's that's our speech. That's our mindset. So we have to become a little ambitious. I want better than this. I want more than this. Tell me how I can get more. That is self-centered ambition. You can start there. right? With that self-centered ambition. And then we say, all right, if I have to do that, somebody can give it to me. And we say, yes, that somebody is or something is the process of devotional service. Shavanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archana Vandanam, and so on and so forth. 9 processes of 9 limbs of devotional service. If I do any of these, if I do them perfectly, then I'm guaranteed that I can't do anything right now, but in my next life, I don't have to do any of this stuff. I can finally get out of this cycle of birth and death. I can be happy and not be miserable, and I can be happy all the time. Right? But how will you be happy? Why? What are you doing? Okay? Shavanam, hearing what? Krishna's. Smaranam, thinking about what? Remembering what? So, attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And slowly, these services that we do, we get attached to the service. You see that in your life. Kaun gym jata hai, right? Some of you go, right? Or kaun have a habit, a nice habit, whatever it is. You know, even a bad habit, child behavior, whatever, right? Okay. After some time, you can't live without that habit. It comes like, why? Because you get attached to that service, that habit. Okay. And then, but this habit is such that after a period of attachment towards the service, you start getting attached to the object of the service. Kiske liye kar rahe ho? It's not very difficult to understand this. How many people have parents and grandparents who were married in an arranged marriage? Or many of you are Indian bodies. Parents or grandparents, right? Arranged marriage, right? Right? Many of them were married when they were young. उनको पता है कि पति का प्रेम क्या होता है, ये क्या प्रेम? They probably just met their spouse like the day before the wedding or 3 days before the wedding. Do you think they walked into this and started developing love on day 1? No. But what did they do? They started serving each other. ये लो चाय पी लो, अच्छा सुबह उठा दे, अच्छा तुम्हारे लिए ये लेके आओ, तुम्हारे लिए वो लेके आओ, ये लो साड़ी, ये लो गहना, ये so serving each other. अच्छा तुम्हारे लिए खाना परोस के रखा है. I won't eat till you eat. So this is service. This is not, and slowly, that service morphs into love, and that love strengthens over time. And then when you talk to them after 40, 50 years, they can't live without each other. It's second nature to them. It's effortless. They don't even have to think. यार मुझे इससे प्रेम करना है. Nowadays you have to like, oh, I forgot to tell my wife or husband I love you. Oh no, अब क्या होगा? तो खाना नहीं मिलेगा, कहीं और सोना पड़ेगा. Like no, it's not effortless, right? Like you don't have. So this is the transformation. Okay? Did that answer your question, Prabhuji? Okay? Yes. Okay. Oh, you were just like, nahin, abhi bas karo. All right. Any other questions or comments before we call it? Okay? So now we'll have Aarti. I'll leave it to you, however you want to conduct. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai. Or whoever.
Wait,